strong recommendation to wear headphones to gain a better experience of voiceover with songs. Jimin looked around to confirm, is he actually alive or breathing in the world or in heaven? Soon someone slapped his head from behind, so he turned and passed him a sharp glare. Jimin grabbed his saliva because he knows that how much stubborn Taehyung is, and if someone go against his will, so he will not hesitate to take any worse action. But still, Jimin masked his face bravely and crossed his hand over chest while saying, Taehyung rolled his eyes and pushed his hand in pants pocket, then threw the car's key toward Jimin, that he catch on time before it hit his face. Then his gaze followed Taehyung, who passed by him while saying, Jimin is looking at Taehyung's back, who is moving inside for the interview. Then he looked down the key in his hand while scratching the back of his head. We don't talk anymore like we used to do. We don't laugh anymore. What was all of it for? Ooh, we don't talk anymore like we. Jimin looked behind and found his group mates Jungkook and Suga as standing while resting their side profile on cars. Their sarcastic smirk making Jimin embarrassed, so he giggled nervously. Jimin is looking at them confusingly. It's not like he doesn't know Taehyung, but still, he just had arranged an interview. That's not a big deal. Or moreover, according to him, if Taehyung will be telecast by the interview, he will get paid, and this will make it easier for him to come in politics world. Taehyung crossed his legs over each other arrogantly, then rested his side face in between his index finger and thumb. His gaze is sharp enough to make anyone kneel down in front of him, but his lips have soft yet sarcastic smile that is making him puzzled for everyone. The reporter squeezed his eyes while trying to read Taehyung's gesture, but soon he breathed in deeply as the reporter heard voice of director in his ear via Bluetooth. The reporter gathered his all body and sat elegantly, so Taehyung rolled his eyes. He gestured Taehyung to look at the camera and introduce himself, but Taehyung is still look at him like unbothered. Reporter frowned and looked down at the question card where only one name, Kimtaehyung, is mentioned. But Taehyung's lips are saying different story, so he understands Taehyung is playing with words. Reporter squeezed his eyes to understand him, so Taehyung leaned forward and rested his both hands on knees. Taehyung winked and backed off with a smirk, then rested back on couch before saying, Reporter raised his eyebrow in amusement because he never saw the type of person who can be that much courageous to call himself devil in front of camera. But he's enjoying this. After a long time, he got the chance to take the interview of someone interesting. He laughed little to light up the environment, but Taehyung scoffed to see him. Then reporter decided to continue the interview. Coincé dans mes yeux, qui ne veut plus s'en aller. Oh non, n'oubliez pas, vous qui ne connaissez pas les vertiges et la douleur, ils sont superficiels et bientôt. Il est tout mon monde, et bien plus que ça, seul je prie son nom quand vient le désarroi, et puis tout s'effondre quand il n'est plus là. Taehyung is eating without giving any attention to his mother, so she sighed deeply, then started eating too. Taehyung stopped chewing and looked at his mother, who is sadly playing with a spoon over plate. So Taehyung placed hand on her that made her look at his eyes. His mother sighed again and placed hand over his to caress it. Taehyung quickly came to his knees and started caressing his mother's hand back. Mrs. Kim placed palm on his cheek and smiled little while thinking something in his mind. Her word cut off as Jimin dragged the seat out and sat on to join them. Taehyung annoyingly sat back to his seat. Jimin smirked and leaned near Taehyung's ear to whisper. Taehyung pushed him back, that made him back off, so he started chuckling out loud to see irritated Taehyung. Then Mrs. Kim giggled little too. Jimin ignored his word and started enjoying his food. So Mrs. Kim also dug in food, but then she remembered something. Taehyung spit out the food because he becomes shocked as his mother is asking about his result, but before he can reply, Jimin answered. Taehyung mentally face palm and closed his eyes while twisted his hand to curse Jimin, but then he becomes surprised as his mother said. Taehyung sighed in relief and smiled little as he thinks he's safe now, but Jimin's next word dropped his smile. Taehyung glared at him while mentally punching Jimin's face 1,000 times, but his mother said. Taehyung covered Jimin's mouth to make him shut, but Mrs. Kim already heard that, so she looked at Taehyung with risen eyebrows and crossed her hand over chest. Taehyung chuckled nervously, then slapped Jimin's mouth jokingly. She's still glaring Taehyung, so he looked around to find something to make an excuse, but then his eyes caught Jimin, who is innocently smiling to him. He is mentally cursing Jimin, so Jimin look away as he understands he did mistake to reveal the truth in front of his mother. But before she can scold Taehyung, Taehyung quickly looked toward the window as a loud thunder echoed. Soon rain started pouring, so a smile crept on his lips. Mrs. Kim followed his gaze and became clueless as Taehyung again is smiling while seeing the rain. And she knows that what next move he will do. But before that she can say a word, Taehyung stand up and take the blazer from the seat. Then rush out the mansion. Mrs. Kim and Jimin stand up too and look at his disappearing figure from their side. Soon Mrs. Kim sighed as this is not new for her because Taehyung always rush out somewhere as the rain started. But Jimin took out his phone and messaged someone. Either heavy raindrops are making everything blurry, but his eyes can clearly see her beautiful face under this dark rain because lightning is helping him to explore her face. He smiled as she expanded her hand in air and lifted up her face to feel the rain over her with a soft, beautiful smile. Taehyung's heart is beating uncontrollably. It's not first time that he's seeing her like this, but he always saw her like this. But whenever he see her, it's new for him. Every time his heart feels millions of emotions that he is not used to. Soon someone come from behind and covered his head with umbrella. So Taehyung looked up irritatingly, then back at the person. Taehyung removed the umbrella from his head and said. Taehyung mumbled and again looked at the direction, but his heart flipped to see she is slowly going away from his side. Taehyung is mumbling, "Do not go, please." But his voice is hardly audible to him, then how it would be possible that the girl will listen. Soon she disappeared from his side, so Taehyung breathed in deeply and slid his body with 3 trucks and sat down, then wiped his face with one hand while resting his head back, then closed his eyes. So Jungkook also sat beside him and said, Taehyung smiled to realize how stupid and silly he is for this girl. Then he opened his eyes and looked at the Jungkook. Jungkook became numb for a second. So Taehyung again closed his eyes and facing off the sky. Taehyung's lips are still smiling while reminding the night where he first saw the unknown girl. And from that time, whenever it's raining, he come here to see that girl. Jungkook shakes his head in disbelief as he doesn't believe that he is the same Taehyung who once said to him, no one can make him crazy over her. Taehyung quickly opened his eyes and glared at Jungkook. Jungkook is unable to utter a single word, so he stays silent, but then Taehyung stands up and starts stepping toward the place where the girl was standing. So Jungkook also follows him. Soon Taehyung's steps stopped as he saw the footprint of her on wet mud. So he kneeled down and caressed her footprint with a smile. Jungkook is still looking at him down on ground without caring about the wet mud where he is caressing her footprint, but his next word stunned him.